major update on a story we first brought you less than a month ago.
Yeah, human remains found 16 years ago in South Bend have finally been identified. Investigators telling our team it was Christine Carson's Michiana Unsolved segment which helped make this happen.
It was shared all across the country on social media, and DNA confirmed a match. The human remains belong to 39-year-old Tracy Martin. You see her right here. And now that we know who this is, we have to figure out what happened to her.
This is 39-year-old Tracy L. Martin. According to police, she was known to live with various friends on the northwest side of South Bend. Family said they would talk to Tracy almost every single day. But in August 2007, everything changed.
We know that Tracy was at Memorial Hospital with a friend on August the 7th of 2007. And then on August the 10th, Tracy's family got a phone call from her, and she asked them to pick her up at the corner of Blaine and Lincoln Way in South Bend. She said that she was being bothered by someone, and family said that she seemed like she was afraid.
Family hung up the phone and immediately went to that area. It only took 15 minutes, but she was gone. That was the last time they would ever talk to her. But little did they know, just over a month later, their loved one would be found in that exact same area. A South Bend resident was cutting grass in a vacant lot. It was around 2 p.m. when he found what he believed were human remains, and that's when the police were called.
There were no personal items with the body. It was sent for autopsy, and they determined that the remains were that of a woman, but they weren't really able to give any other information at that time.
16 years later, on December 11, 2023, our Michiana Unsolved piece aired. 48 hours after that, even more was revealed.
Cold case detectives had a family member reach out and say, I think this is one of my relatives. We were able to get DNA collected from them, get that sent to the lab. The lab rushed the results on that to see, see whether or not we were on the right track. Now that we know that it was Tracy, now it's time to find out what happened to her.
If you have any information on what happened to Tracy L. Martin, you're asked to contact Michiana Crime Stoppers. Every single tip is 100% anonymous.
This is just a reminder to never give up hope, and I'm so thankful that we have this platform and to be a part of a program and to have this partnership with you, to be able to have the opportunity to get these stories out there and make sure that people remember them, because it definitely makes a difference.
Well, it was just 2 months ago we learned my Michiana Unsolved segment actually helped identify human remains in a 16-year-old South Bend cold case. Well, now the St. Joe County Police is hoping that you can help with one of their cold cases by identifying a Jane Doe, now referred to as Madison.
On December 29, 1996, a couple of hunters were out in the 21,000 block of Madison Road when they stumbled upon some skeletal remains. At first, they thought it was an animal. Then they realized it was a human, and that's when St. Joe County Police were called.
There were no identifiers present with the body, and it appears that the body had been left in the field nude. There was no clothing or anything to be able to determine a name or anything with that body.
Through further testing, we learned she was a white or Hispanic female between the ages of 20 and 35. She was about 5'5" with brown hair, and her teeth were in good condition, indicating she had regular dental care. But there is something about her teeth that could be a major identifier.
A further examination of her dental records indicates that the victim was congenitally missing the lateral incisor teeth. She was born without those teeth, and it's a condition that less than 4% of the population has.
It's also a condition that's hereditary. 27 years later, police still have no leads as DNA collected hasn't resulted in a match. Their next steps, exploring even more DNA technology.
64-year-old woman left to die in her home. In this week's Michiana Unsolved, we highlight the homicide of Geraldine Reeser. As investigators work to find her killer, the least we can do is help. I do want to warn you, you are going to see crime scene photos in this piece, and they are extremely graphic. On May 3rd, 1990, the 400 block of South Scott Street became flooded with lights. A 64-year-old woman sitting on her bedroom floor, blood everywhere, waiting for help.
While the exact date and time of the attack is still unknown, what we do know is that there was a window screen on the south side of the residence that had been cut, which is presumably where the suspect made entry into the home.
When South Bend police got there, she was barely alive and incoherent.
And was unable to provide any information to the responding officers.
Geraldine Reeser had been severely beaten. She sustained extensive traumatic blows resulting in multiple face fractures, 8 fractured ribs, and a fractured collarbone. She was covered in bruises and was raped.
But this was a physical attack. This was up close, most likely personal in some way, and very brutal.
Geraldine was rushed to the hospital and stayed there for the next 10 days.
And then another 18 days. I mean, so she suffered for several days, not to mention through the attack itself. And so anything that we can do.
Eventually, she was transferred to a nursing home. 8 days later, she died from a heart attack brought on by all the trauma she sustained.
Geraldine wasn't married. She didn't have any children, but she did have 6 brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews. So there is still family. And as a community, we need to make sure that we are not forgetting her. We want to do everything we can to make sure that this person is identified and held responsible.
We'll take a moment and come to your screen because St. Joe County Police, they need your help. For more than 35 years, they've been working to identify the Howard Johnson John Doe, and this is where you come in. In today's Michiana Unsolved, I want to give you a look at never-before-seen photos connected to this St. Joe County cold case. The hope is that you can help.
On June 9th, 1985, a family was walking their dog behind a hotel known as the Howard Johnson Motor Lodge. Now, it's no longer there today, but it was in the area of Cleveland in 933. As the family was walking, they started to smell something terrible. When they went to investigate, they found a man dead. And that's when police were called.
Police say that it was badly decomposed, but they were able to get viable fingerprints and teeth for forensic analysis. However, that has produced no leads over the years. Now, they are hopeful that with some of the new DNA technology, that maybe we can get some advancements.
Through their investigation, they believe this individual was a white male around 20 to 30 years old. They believed he was about 5'9" to 6'1" and maybe around 150 to 175 pounds. He had longer brown hair and a mustache. He was also found wearing blue jeans and a rock band t-shirt. And for the very first time, we are seeing pictures of a green U.S. Army jacket he was also wearing.
And as you can see, there is the name Hosea, or H-O-S-E-A. And there's also an emblem patch on the arm of the 3rd Armored Division, which is that spearhead patch that you're seeing.
Police believe this man was not killed where he was found. They also know the cause of death was a gunshot wound. This has been ruled a homicide. Now, in order to figure out what happened, we first have to figure out who he is. And that's where you come in.